Hi, we're back in London for the official launch of the new Dextro Energy Triathlon ITU World Championship Series event that's going to be taking place in Hyde Park in August. The race series is part of the 8-race new series of World Championship races. I'm joined by Paul Coleman from the ITU, one of the organisers of the series. I'm going to have a quick chat to him now about the race. So firstly, welcome Paul, so thanks for joining us. For our readers and out there, can you just give us a bit of an intro as to what the series is and the changes that have happened this year as opposed to sort of prior year World Cup and World Championship events?
Okay, well what we've done is to reshape the World Cup and the World Championships from a single World Championship event to a series of 8 events, and that will be 7 single events, and London will be one of those events, plus a grand final which will be held in Australia at the end of the year. We've reshaped this top tier of the sport to give us a much better opportunity to build a profile for the sport and showcase the athletes over a 5 to 6 month period. That is obviously going to have an impact, hopefully, on growing the sport globally, and also have an opportunity to create some really interesting high-level competition, head-to-head competition over the next 6 months.
Yeah. And one of the things that is included in that, I believe, is live TV coverage around the world from each of those races, which is something new for triathlon.
Well, the advantage we've got from having 8 exclusive events is that, and each event becoming a world championship, creates an opportunity to bring in top class venues such as London, Washington DC, Yokohama, Hamburg, and in addition to that, it gives athletes an opportunity to race in top class venues.
Yeah. I guess for your point of view and triathlon as a whole, it couldn't have got off to a better start than Korea a couple of weeks ago, and we had probably the closest finish I'd ever seen in triathlon. Yeah. So you must be pretty pleased with that as a way to showcase the first race in the series and hoping for more, I assume.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the interesting thing now for us is that the athletes are 100% behind the series, and in Korea, which was our first event, it could have been close to an Olympic field. I mean, there were world-class athletes throughout. It was a high-quality field. And we ended up in a situation where the Olympic champion won the women's event, and then in the men's race it was an incredible fight to the finish. There were 4 athletes still left in the race with 20 minutes to go, and the race built in intensity until 2 athletes were sprinting down the finish line and dived over the finish tape together.
Yeah, and made it pretty difficult for the photo finish judges, I believe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. London obviously is one of the major cities of the world generally, not just in sport. So must be pretty pleased to have the race in London, not just tokenly in London, but right slap bang in the middle in Hyde Park, and that must create a big opportunity for the sport as a whole and for the series. So I guess that's a big win for you.
Absolutely. I mean, we've got some core events within the series which are definitely going to showcase the sport. And in London, we are right in the heart of the city. We're at an Olympic venue, and we've got a number of years, hopefully looking forward, where we can actually build the profile of the event and obviously the series in the UK. Hopefully that can have an impact on the growth of the sport in the UK.
Yeah. And we have a lot of readers of the site who compete in the age group World Championships over the years, and that's still going to continue, and it's going to be linked in with the grand finale in Australia as in prior years, I believe. Is that the case?
Yeah, exactly. In fact, ITU wants to really engage with the age group athletes. So every single event will have opportunities to qualify for the age group World Championships, and that's for international athletes too. So, we really want to bridge that gap with the age group athletes, because we know that mass participation is, very important in terms of growing the sport.
Yeah.
But as you say, every year we will have a grand final event, and there will be a single day World Championships for the age group athletes.
Yeah. And in London, there's also an opportunity to do an age group race as well for people on the Sunday after the elites on the Saturday.
Yeah, I believe the capacity is somewhere around 2,100. I believe it'll probably be oversubscribed. I can imagine it's going to be very, very popular for triathletes in Britain to try and compete at the Olympic venue in the build-up to the games. So I can imagine it's going to be very popular. Yeah. But yeah, certainly there's going to be an age group event alongside the elite event.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, I imagine so, because I know it's pretty difficult to put on a triathlon event in Hyde Park, and there's not too many chances in the year to do it. And this is certainly going to be the biggest opportunity for any Brits to race there as well. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. For the sport as a whole, where do you see the series going? Let's assume we've got a successful series in 2009. Have you got any further plans for future years? Do you see the series expanding, or do you want to keep that sort of core of a smaller number of really focused, high quality races?
I think that's the key for us. I mean, we know that the athletes have limitations. We don't want to push the athletes too hard, but we want to give them an opportunity to compete in high quality events. And we think that 7 or 8 is probably the best number, because we realise the athletes also have to compete in other races, such as regionally here in the European Championship. The driver for us, I think, will be to increase the quality of those events and to drive, with TV, TV distribution, and increase, the numbers in terms of spectators and audiences worldwide.
Yeah, excellent. Well, it all sounds very interesting. We're really looking forward to it. I hope the series is a big success. So if you're out there and you're free in the middle of August, we want to come and see a fantastic event, which one of the few sporting events you can come along and see without having to go and spend a vast amount on entry tickets. Come down to Hyde Park and see the Dextro Energy World Championship race, and hopefully we might even have a Brit winner or two. Thanks, Paul.
Thanks very much.